And you can see that amazing close proximity that they keep to each other. And it shows that there's still a very good bond in this pack. Michelle's wondering, are wild dogs as affectionate with each other as lions? I would say they're more affectionate. It's quite a different type of affection. So that high pitch sort of chittering and that sort of biting on the side of the face is actually affection, and it doesn't look quite as affectionate as lions licking each other, but that is a form of affection. And they do live in such tight-knit communities. They lie very, very close to each other at all times. There you go, the ears flicking away, keeping the flies at bay. So we are hoping they are going to get moving shortly. Well, hi Andy in Kentucky. Andy is wondering how I tell which dogs are the alphas. From watching them. So the female, I've just been watching her behavior, and the rest of the pack seems to take lead from her, but the male is quite easy to tell. He's got a collar. So when researchers collar dogs, they will normally collar one of the alpha pair, because they will stay with the pack throughout their life. They don't disperse from their own pack. And if one of the alphas were to die, normally a beta would step into that role, but sometimes it can mean the end for a pack if an alpha dies. That cohesive bond that makes them such an incredible unit is sometimes lost. They are very, very, very flat at the moment. Hello, Bethany. Bethany's saying she knows that wild dogs share food, but she'd like to know whether the alpha pair would eat first. No, Bethany, the puppies always eat first. So if there is a sub-adult, the puppies always eat first, and even if the alpha pair arrive later to kill, and they won't push the other dogs off. They will feed and fight, but if they don't get enough food, one of the other dogs will regurgitate for them, and vice versa. If they get enough food and one of the subordinates, the beta or gamma females or males don't get enough, they will also regurgitate for them. So it's a very, very caring community in comparison to lions. Now, they're not doing much now, but it's very important to play the patience game, because we know we're going to get some incredible movement out of these dogs a little bit later. But while we do that, we're going to go to an animal that the dogs are quite fond of biting their bottoms.
Definitely. And poor Gwen, I think, has had her fair share of having her bottom bitten, both by wild dogs and, of course, the rest of her clan as well. So we're in luck. I actually really wasn't expecting to see her. It's boiling hot, although perhaps that's why she's in the den. A little bit of the worse for the wear. This poor hyena has mangled ears. She's got bite marks everywhere. She's not young. Her teeth are all yellowed and blunted. They're definitely a face that is not as easy to love straight away as perhaps the beautiful wild dogs are with Brent, but a creature that is equally as fascinating and intriguing and very, very intelligent. And somewhere in that den are those two little ones of hers. Well, I suspect they are. I didn't see any cubs come running out, so I suspect that they're in there. And thus begins, or continues, the somewhat laborious process of getting those little cubs to relax in our presence. And the fantastic thing is that she's here now, which means there's a chance that the cubs will feel a great deal more courageous with the presence of their mum. Now, James has discussed this, I think, quite a few times this week. I've also touched upon it, the fact that when animals are very small, they're very easy to habituate when they're cubs. They get used to people or human beings and vehicles very, very quickly. And the older they get, the longer that process takes and the harder it is to do. Now, Gwen disappeared off somewhere, we don't know where, just after we very first saw these cubs, and she vanished off into who knows where, presumably Manuletti or perhaps in Buffelshoek somewhere. And obviously she's been where the cubs haven't encountered vehicles before, and as a result, every time we've come past this den, now that she's back on Djuma, the little cubs have come shooting out of here like champagne corks and disappeared off into the bush. And I've been patiently waiting for Gwen to be back in the den site. I know that Brent had her here not too long ago, in the hope that her presence will give the cubs that little extra bit of courage. And I'm thinking that hyenas, being curious as they are, that the process with 8-month-old hyena cubs might be slightly easier than it would be, for example, with skittish leopard cubs or skittish lion cubs. I'm hoping that their natural curiosity is going to overcome their fear. And once they start pushing those boundaries and coming out and having a look at us, hopefully that will be that, and they'll realize that we are not in any way a threat. But it might not be as easy as we'd hoped. Things out here have a tendency not to be as easy as we had hoped they would be. They tend to be slightly more time-consuming, I think, is perhaps the best word. Janice in Canada, lovely to hear from you. You want to know if a hyena will go off to...
get it. It's tiny. There. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it, Kirsten. It is it. That is it. That thing is a creature. That thing is living. That is living. I know it doesn't look like it's living, but I promise you it is. I've just seen it kick to the... No, sorry, I'm talking rubbish. There it is. That's the living thing. There we go. Look at that. What that is anyone's guess. It could be a mosquito larvae, I suppose. It could easily be one of these dastardly back swimmers larvae. I'm not sure, but it doesn't know that we can see it. It's a bit like a steenbok who thinks it hasn't been spotted. It is minute. It is probably about 1.5 millimeters long, and now it is convinced that it has been discovered. It just went to the loo. I even make small larvae go to the loo. I am the ultimate in bush laxatives. Excellent. Look at him floating like that. This water is a bit of a wind, David. Unless you happen to be a tadpole being attacked by the water boatman, I must go and make sure that I search the tadpole's water now for those water boatmen. Highly mobile now. Let's just try one more thing, if you don't mind. Hold on. There we go. I think that's a living creature. Or do you think it's a piece of grass, David? No, that's an arthropod. It's a larva of some kind. There is so much in this tiny little patch of water that I picked out. In fact, there's something else now. Just come back to me, Kirsty. I'll make it less awkward for you next time. There's something else here that looks like a little shrimp. Hello, little shrimp. Are you a shrimp? You are a shrimp. Are you? What that is? It's got a lot of legs. Grief, I wonder what that is. Something that the water boatman has probably eaten or about to eat. No idea. Couldn't begin to tell you what that is. Maybe a male mosquito that's died here? No idea. Fascinating stuff. And that's in this tiny, tiny little amount of water here. Look at that. Marvellous. Let's go across to Taylor, get an update from her. I will go outside and find some things to show you next time you see me.
Up here, it occurs down south, but my brain is not here. So we've just come out the drainage system. It was nice and cool, and we were actually wanting to hang around there for as long as possible, because you can really feel a significant difference from when you're out up here to when you go down into the lovely cool drainage system with all the big trees providing nice shade, and the sand is so nice and cold. It's really quite wonderful about that. But we're on the road, and we're basically heading towards Central, and then we're going to go to the dam. We've come across some, well, it was elephant dung at one point, but you can see that the dung beetles have been here and have completely, really devoured most of it. You can see it would have been in a big blob at one point, but of course the guinea fowl would have helped to disperse it slightly. But I always love, and this was me digging in here just now, so let me make it flat like it was when I first arrived. Oh, it's a bit prickly. There we go. That's what it actually looked like, but then I came through and dug it out. But it's loose. Look at all of this. I mean, they've completely eaten. Oh, hello. Is this a dung beetle? No. Marula. See what else we've got in here. Have a little dig. Maybe we might even find some more little dung beetles that are still utilizing this. Yes, here's a little chafer dung beetle. Did I catch you? No? Come here. Yes, now I've got him. He's a tiny little ones. I think we actually saw one last week as well, but have a look how tiny they are. It's compared to my thumb. Oh, let me do my pinky. No, trying to burrow into my finger. You can't do that. Now it is now stuck in my finger. But you can see really tiny compared to the bigger dung beetles that we normally see. And of course they'll come in and utilize the scraps that the bigger dung beetles don't want anymore, because we know that they prefer the fresher stuff. But this little chap doesn't mind burrowing its way into the bottom of the dung where it's still nice and moist, where it will of course carry on feeding. Right, let me put it back now that it has woken up. If you go in, let's see what else we can find. It's actually quite nice to dig. Let me put that back. See, found marulas. Nothing else. Ants. Some more chafer dung beetles. Oh, look at this one. This is another type of, it looks like a little dung beetle, are you? No, what are you? Let's have a closer look. That doesn't look like a dung beetle. This is a dung beetle. Oh, it's got sand on my knees, and that really hurt. But have a look here. That's an interesting looking thing. It is alive. It's just pretending to be dead. I don't know if that's a dung beetle. It doesn't look very dung beetle-like. See, the shell's a bit different. I'm not sure if it has wings. And you can see that's a very small little one. It's a funny looking thing. It also doesn't have that sort of spade on its head. Oh, and an ant. And an ant. That was a bit of a tongue twister. Ridiculous, aren't I? Right, we're going to put them back. And there's so many different things that are utilizing and living underneath this dung. So it is so... Oh, our beetle's now coming back alive. He's decided he's not scared of us. So we'll just pack it down nicely. And even though it's not desirable for the bigger dung beetles, but like you've seen just there, I have to fix it because I'm so OCD. Just put that back. There we go. But... and albeit you said that we need a hand sanitizer as the sponsor, you're quite right, because which then ran away from me, and I don't blame it, because I'm a bit like a giant stomping around here, and all these small things are of course absolutely petrified of us. Where do you want to go?
Baby hyenas are called cubs, not pups. They are not related to dogs. Oh, she's almost vanished totally. I'm quite jealous of her hiding hole. It looks very comfortable in there. And she's managed to squeeze herself. She's actually got a really nice gap right in there. Puts paid to all of those textbooks that say that adult hyenas don't go into the den site with their cubs, because clearly they do. As long as the entrance is big enough, as long as there's enough space, they absolutely will. And then within the den site will be a network of tiny tunnels where the little cubs will have excavated their way through and made little bolt holes, and places where the adults can't follow, or any threat can't follow them. All right, Gwen, I think you are very much asleep. I think her cubs are probably very much asleep. So we'll leave her for now and we'll come back and try again a bit later. Fingers crossed and holding thumbs and all of those good luck things that she does decide to pop out. And if she comes out, I think the cubs will come out with her. If she comes and lies on the side of the entrance to the den. Just bear with me one moment, sir. I just want to ask Aubrey something. Aubrey. Sorry, what was that update on those Nkonzo around the Mulwanini? Is it south of Torchwood? Okay, copy. Does it look like last tracks might go into Chitwa? Okay, copy that. Thank you. I might just go double check that side. Aubrey picked up tracks south. Remember how I said Thandi and her cub were both on Torchwood as well as Nkanyeni in quarantine? Well, Orbs has just said that he's picked up tracks of a leopard and cub around, unfortunately, an area where we have very little signal, but an area that Thandi really, really likes. And I think if she can hear the sound of Nkanyeni mating with quarantine, I'm not sure if Nkanyeni is mating or if she was just seen near him, but if she can hear those two around, she might decide to shift the cubs slightly further away, and that would be to our advantage. Now, that's sort of what I'm hoping. Isn't it amazing how Djuma was teeming with elephants 2 days ago? I have not seen one elephant, and I've been looking really hard. Alrighty. Let's just go double check those tracks. And there we go. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Judy would like to know, why is it that we call hyena cubs cubs and wild dog pups pups? It's because, look, I mean, the distinction is always a fine one with the different names that we give animals. You know, we talk about waterbuck bulls and cows, but impala rams and ewes. But in this particular case, it's sort of more towards this, to try and indicate the evolutionary line. Baboons, in that wild dogs are true dogs. They are part of the Canidae family. Hyenas are not. Even though they look a lot like dogs, they are an entirely separate family. They belong to a family known as Hyenidae, which, if you go back further enough in time, is probably slightly more related to cats than dogs in terms of their evolution, but ultimately more closely related to things like mongoose and the mustelids. So the herpestids, the mustelids, and the viverids, all of which have an anal gland very, very similar to the one that hyenas sport. So that's what sort of puts them together in that greater order, or suborder actually it would be, because the order is carnivores. Taxonomy is causing confusion. I just want to go and double check these tracks. I don't want to go too far down into the Mulwanini. That's the one big problem. The Mulwanini is a river system that not flows, but runs through Torchwood and through Chitwa and ends up in Chitwa Dam. The question, we don't have any signal there, but I do just want to check and see whether or not her tracks go towards Chitwa. So while I do that, let's head across all the way back to Djuma and get an update from James in the tent.
I'm slightly caught unawares here. I'm trying to find a lizard for Cameron. but I haven't found one yet. What I'm going to do is lift up this sandbag and see if something emerges from underneath it. David, are you ready? Because there was a lizard here, and it was living on the giraffe skull. There isn't a lizard, but there's something else. Look, it's one of these little male rain frogs. Oh, that's so exciting. Oh dear, I need to hit him with a piece of elephant dung. There he is. Hello.
Just lost him.
There he is. I think this chap is the very same chap we had here. I don't know when it was, but it was one of the first tents that we did early morning. And it was raining, and this chap, it must have been December probably. Isn't he cool? So this is a male bushveld rain frog, as far as I can work out there. He thinks he's hiding now. We can get him. You can still see him, Dave.
Yep.
That's very cool. Now, he's tiny. He's about the size of my thumbnail, maybe a little bit bigger. There he is, burrowing into safety. Isn't that sweet? We must be very careful when we put that sandbag. Can you still see him there? Not really. There he is. You got him?
Yep.
Well, Cameron, there's not quite a lizard, but it is a bushveld rain frog male.
That's nice.
Hello, Cameron. You're 7 and you lost your brother last year, I remember now. And, of course, you've got... I think it's an iguana, isn't it? It's a big lizard. It's a big iguana, and you named it after Scott, who was your favourite friend presenter, and certainly Matty and you used to enjoy scorpions with Scott, and you say the lizard is still very, very well, and I'm very pleased about that, Matty. I hope it lives a long and fruitful life, which sorry, Cameron, you know how long those things live. They live for very, very many years, so that's great, and I'm glad he's very happy and that you're looking after him well. Well done. That's not easy, you know. I think maybe you should come over here and help me look after my tadpoles, because I'm really not very good at looking after them, or after my caterpillars. I'll tell you a little secret, Cameron. I've found some more caterpillars right now, and they actually are the wild versions of the ones that I've found, and they're bigger living out here than the ones that I've been feeding twice a day. So I'm going to have to modify what I'm doing, and perhaps you can send through some suggestions as to how I can keep the tadpoles and the caterpillars happy for the next 2 weeks of the TV shows that we're doing. All right, we're going to leave this bushveld rain frog there. I'm just going to put a little bit of sand and this moist sort of elephant dung and a bit of grass over the top of him so that he feels safe. I don't know how he's going to find a wife. I hope he does find a wife, though it would be sad for him to be on his own here at the tent. Oh, that was very special. Monty, you're wondering if the rainy season is over. Sorry, David, I'm really getting in your way here. Let's go out here and have a look. Monty, you might look at the sky and say to yourself, gosh, it doesn't look like there's going to be any rain. No, the rainy season is not over. February is often the highest point of the rainy season, so I suspect we'll have quite a lot more rain this month. I hope that we will. There's some predicted for Monday, typically, because that's, of course, when we're doing our TV show. I'm not sure if it's going to rain. Normally, the weather report in this area is in complete and utter untruth, so we'll see what happens with that. It hasn't rained. I would say we've had about average rainfall this year. I don't think we've had a high rainfall year at all, as was predicted by the great predicting gurus of weather. You see how my voice did that? Just even saying it made my throat close up. So I think it's been a pretty normal year of rain, and much of the country is actually still in drought. Right, Brent is still with the dogs. I predicted about 25 minutes ago that they'd be up in half an hour. In 5 minutes, they'll be on the hunt.
Well, let's hope James is right. They are definitely starting to show some signs of getting mobile. Look at that. You can hear those. That's one of my... there's a very distinctive dog, that one, with his hole in his ear. It can be seen quite easily. There's a bit of begging and greeting going on. A bit of stick pulling by the pirate dog. Here we go, okay. Now, we just need a couple of those youngsters to get a little bit overexcited. Alpha male's up. I can't see whether the alpha female's up yet. There, the alpha male's just to the left. I'm playing with one of the dogs on the ground. Oh, they are so gorgeous. Oh, there's the half-tailed male. You can see he doesn't have a white flag, the poor guy. And Catherine's wondering if the wild dogs use their tails the same way as the domestic dogs do. And you see the old half-tailed male, he's flapping away. To a degree, yes, Catherine, they use them to keep the flies at bay, but they have far more other more important uses when it comes to the dogs. They're following mechanisms. They're also signalers for when they make a kill. So when they make a kill, all their tails go up so the other dogs can find them. And so they're a bit more important. The domestic dog doesn't really use its tail too much for communication, where they're there to sort of just keep the flies away from the smelly bits. So the dogs have that function as well as multiple other functions. Now, a very, very interesting question has been asked by David and Napa. How did this dog become the alpha male? So, what would have happened, David? He would have been maybe a gamma or a delta male in another pack, and he would have left with probably one of his litter mates, a brother of his, who was probably a little bit lower than he was. So if, let's say, he was a gamma, so his litter mate was a delta, and two of them, same sex, would have left the pack they were born to, and they would have gone out adventuring as young men do, going in search of a new future, and he would have had to meet two females that had left their pack, or three females. Sometimes it's three, sometimes two, sometimes one, but mostly it is two or three that disperse. And then he would have had to meet two females, again of different ranks. And so if they were both gammas in their previous packs, they would then join to form the alpha pair of the new pack. So that's how alpha pairs are. And then basically, only if one of the alphas dies will then the beta step in. Now, normally only the alpha female will give birth to puppies, but in some rare occasions you do have betas that give birth. Sometimes the alpha female will kill them, sometimes she will tolerate them. It all just depends. Well, not quite ready to get on the move just yet. Oh, look at that face. Oh, yawn. Oh, look at those teeth. Very, very effective tooth. So white. Now, Swapno would like to know whether these dogs have been vaccinated against rabies and distemper. This particular pack has, yes. They have been vaccinated. Come on, guys. You're late. They obviously caught a big impala this morning if they're not wanting to get moving as quickly. But I think they definitely will get moving before dark. I was just hoping it was going to be a little bit earlier. But that's the thing about the bush. You can't plan. Well, every time you make a plan, it can change. of the afternoon is.
I don't know what my plan is for the rest of the afternoon before we go back to Gwen as it gets a little bit darker. Sorry, I just been surprised by this fallen marula tree. It's finally come down. Been watching this thing rot for the last 2 years and become infested by termites and wood borers. Nearly 2 years. And it's finally given up and broken and fallen into the middle of the road. Wow. You can actually see, that's why we have to be careful when you climb up dead marulas. Like that fallen one on quarantine that Herbie was so terrified was going to roll over and kill me if I climbed into it. And they do tend, it's very soft wood, so the insects get through it very easily. And they tend to be quite weak structures. Now earlier I said that I was going to go look and see if there was tracks for Thandi coming out. Unfortunately not. It looks very much as though she's still in Torchwood. You could just see the tracks where she went in. So she's not playing with us today. No sign of Thandi and her cub. They're off to my right somewhere, but just beyond our reach. So we'll continue on. We'll go and have a look and see what's happening around Buffelshoek Dam. We'll make our way around there slowly. And then, as it gets dark, we'll come back and have a look and see whether or not we can't coax. We won't actually coax, but see if we can't coax her cubs to come out and keep us entertained. Sorry, just turn my game drive radio down. So now, where should we go? Yeah. We'll go all the way up the eastern boundary and go and have a look at Buffelshoek Dam, see what we can find there. And of course, there's still the possibility that we've got an active hyena den somewhere, another active hyena den. That's what I'm really hoping for, is that the hyenas are properly back. But I've checked every den site. No sign of any of their old ones being active. Hello, waterbuck. Sure. The bush has changed so much. They're not far from us, but it's very thick in here. There we go. Quite pretty in this afternoon light. The grasses are quite golden. Almost pinkish, actually. There we go. The fluffy waterbuck. For a second there, they were mirror imaging each other. There's actually one at the back as well. They both lifted their heads up at exactly the same moment. I wondered where the waterbuck were. There's usually a herd somewhere around this road. And the more time that you spend out here, the more time you actually get to know whereabouts you see regular individual herds of animals. There's a bachelor herd of impala at Twin Dams, for example. There's a bachelor herd of Inyala that spend a lot of time along this road. And of course these waterbuck as well. We often see them resting out in the open in the mornings. Isn't it astounding how the vegetation has changed now that it's the rainy season? I'm getting all sorts of... There's the black-bellied bustard calling, that's also always in this area. Can hear him somewhere. It is amazing how everything has changed. It's beautiful. And I hear, of course, that... Well, of course, the rain brings out all sorts of things like frogs and tadpoles and insects. I hear you've been looking at a tiny frog with James. I'm going to go and look at the screenshots when I get back this evening, but I suspect it's probably the Mozambique rain frog. It's the same one as if it is, it's the same one that we had on our bushwalk. The tiny little thing, the size of my fingernail. And I went and double-checked the screenshots afterwards and had a look, and thank you to all of you that sent those through, because it's very useful for IDing afterwards. Went and had a look, and then I could see actually frog, because they come in so many different color varieties. The last year Brent was saying he found tiny little reddish ones, and And this year, it seems we found a couple of almost rock-coloured ones. I'm not sure what James's one looked like, but thank you to those of you who send through screenshots, because they do come in very, very useful. And of course, as the evening light gets more golden, it's the perfect opportunity for screenshots of beautiful animals. So let's head back to Brent and his dogs.
Well, the dogs are up. It is now looking like it's time to get going, and I'm very excited. It's taking a little bit longer than I thought it was going to today. Any more behind us, Brian? Don't think so. Okay, we need to get in a position where we can escape the thicket in case they start dashing. We've put Connor on the standby to launch east, so we can keep up with them. Okay. There we go. Puppies all finished having their drink. And we've got the eye in the sky, so we don't lose them. It's up and ready in case these dogs dash off. Capable of to help us stay with them. Oh dear, don't go north, puppies. North is the wrong direction. Turn around, go back to quarantine. There we go, this looks like the alpha female, is it? Yeah. She's got a white spot on her on her left shoulder, sorry. It does look like her. Or is it her? Sometimes it can be quite difficult. Now, if they go off to the right of us here, it's a very, very thick block that heads towards the Buffalo's Hook waterhole. So if they do go that way, we're definitely going to have to rely on Captain Connor Teagues. But if they go straight north on the road, I'm afraid they're going to be heading out. But let's have a look what the view from the drone looks like. Okay. There the dogs go. Oh, a little bit of see, begging from the alpha. Come guys, turn left, turn right. Don't stay straight. Is that the alpha female? Oh, I can't really see. There's just too many dogs running around. Okay, are we back with the drone? Okay. So I'm not sure who's narrating, James or me on the drone. Okay, there we go. That's why I've been so quiet. I wasn't sure who was narrating. Okay, so you can see where the dogs are. They're just up ahead of us. There's 3 of us in this position. They are starting to get mobile. And if they go where it looks like they're going to go into this block, Connor is going to be our savior, because he's going to be able to follow the wild dogs where we can't, with our eye in the sky. Now, we've practiced a little bit last weekend. We actually managed to find the dogs back to a kill that we would never have found by using the drone, and so that's able to stick with the dogs. while we rush around, and they can give us directions so we can be on the other side before they get there. So I never thought I would be tracking drones as I drive through the bush, but it has come to that. Because I'm not going to even try follow the dogs through this block. It is incredibly thick, but they should come out quite close towards Buffalo's Hook Waterhole, but I'm going to have to race around, but Connor can stay with them. So what I think the best thing is, because I got to concentrate on driving, is James is going to narrate from the tent, and I'm going to get ahead of them in case they start moving really quickly. So quickly across to James.
I am trying to find caterpillars. I'm not going to worry about caterpillars now. Let's go to the air. There we are. Beautiful. There they are, moving there. Now let's try and pick out the order. I think it's pretty easy with a pack like this because there are three obvious, there are four adults of course, but three of them, they're leading out the youngsters. David, see if you can get a shot there. Sorry everyone, I was distracted momentarily by some starlings going into their nest just outside the tent. Right, let's continue with the dog hunt. Now, I want to discuss with you, there is, oh dear, it's all over. We'll try, it's back now. We're going to go back? Okay, we're going to, there we are. Okay, what the latest research shows, and I mean I've quoted this a few times, but it basically comes from a study where they collared a pack of dogs in Botswana and tracked it on over 1,000 hunts. And this story that they are tremendously cooperative, well they are cooperative, but that they have a coordinated plan when they go on the hunt is starting to hold less and less water. The thought that that big alpha there in the front, you can see him go now on the trot from the front, in fact the two of them on the trot, the thought that the two of them are going to in some way coordinate a team effort where they'll cut an animal off and drive it towards the others, and then when it gets tired the others will take over and sort of continue the hunt in that way, is starting to look increasingly less likely and less probable. And what this research shows, and it's not from watching them, it's from using the GPS, stalk towards the animals, and then as soon as the prey runs, they all run. And then it's just each dog for itself. Whoever catches will then call the others, and they'll bring them in, and they'll all share the kill. But apparently they miss a lot more often than we think they do, but that they're much better than other predators at realizing when they're going to miss, and so they back off. So they don't give a full chase every time they go. They give up quite quickly. They assess very quickly whether the hunt will be successful or not. And often by the time an animal is caught, a prey species is caught, it's often two dogs on it, the rest of the pack exploded miles away, and that's why they have that very important and very loud whooping call that they make to re-establish contact and bring the others in. Now, I don't know how easily that will be visible here, and that's of course because we've basically only got 4 dogs hunting, and you might find even that one of them hangs back. The subdominant or one of the subordinate adults may hang back with the pups. And so it'll be interesting to see. Let's watch if we can perhaps tell if there's some kind of coordination here. Josie, I don't know. I mean, I've been thinking about this the whole day, you know. I've been thinking about what would the pack feel after yesterday? Would they be more alert? That's your question. I think that's a good one. I imagine they were, but you know they're alert all the time. I just think those lions were very sneaky. They happened to be randomly in the area. They heard that twittering of the youngsters playing. They came to investigate. The dogs didn't see them and they came in. These dogs are extremely aware all the time. I mean, I've tripped over lions by mistake before, just about. I've walked to within 3 feet of them and they haven't woken up. These dogs, you can't get that close to them without them waking up. So, I think that they're alert I think they're alert most of the time, and so I don't think that's necessarily that I don't think it's necessarily that they'll be that much more alert. I did think to myself, though, they obviously went and killed straight after the dreadful incident we watched last night, and I couldn't stop, but then I wondered about this the whole day. I thought to myself, did they go there with heavy hearts and think, well, we have to eat anyway? I mean, I'm sure they didn't process the thought like that, but was there an element of sadness? Because we all felt sad, and I'm sure you did too. There was a kind of a heaviness when I woke up this morning after what we saw yesterday. It was a heavy thing to see. And I wondered if the pack felt the same thing, and I don't know. I don't think they're any more alert. I think they're probably a bit more nervous, yes, absolutely. Maybe they'll be looking around a bit more, they'll be a bit more skittish, but they're so alert all the time. Let's go back to the air if we can. And there they are, still moving. Connor, can you be able to tell me in which direction they're moving? I can't see from that where the sun's going. They're probably heading east, actually. Yeah, I can see now where the sun is catching the tops of the trees as it starts to sink. And they will probably pop out now onto Buffelshoek Dam. Now, Connor, I'm going to ask you to try and get the leading pair in the bottom of the screen so that you can almost follow with slightly in front of them, if you know what I mean. There's Brent coming in. Just in case there is some prey up ahead, and we might actually be able to see the prey then before the dogs do. And that would be quite fun. Yeah, they're definitely heading east. Leo Smith, with his inimitable driving style, has managed to get into a thicket of bushes that looks to me to be more impenetrable than the Mbwindi impenetrable forest itself. There they go. I mean, look how thick that bush is. So they'll be looking for Nyala through there largely. I mean, I don't know if they know they're looking for Nyala. Oh, there seems to be quite a lot of movement now. Connor, move forward if you can. There they go. They're going past Brent, towards Brent and past him. Yeah, the alpha's given chase to something. Connor, we need to get a little bit further ahead. Along that game path. That's it. Oh, back the way there. There's the prey. That's a dog. I don't know what's going on here. But can you see here that there's just... Well done, Connor. That's brilliant. They're chasing a scrub hare, apparently. I wonder if they caught it. No, I think... did they? No idea. Can't see from there. I wonder if it did. Yeah, it looks like they caught something there. Did they catch it? It looks like they caught something. Oh, right, let's head across to Jamie. She's apparently got sight of them.
We do indeed. We've just managed to catch up with them, and just hold on one moment. I'm sure Brent will get hold of the other vehicles, let them know we're on Inyala Road North. They've come racing along here, and it looks as though they've chased something down. They've now all playing tug-of-war with a branch. I thought they had actually caught something. It is so wonderful to see wild dogs once again. What are they up to? They're all playing tug-of-war. Here they are. Wild dogs everywhere, dashing back to where Brent is. I can hear him crashing through the bush. And they've vanished again. It sounds as though they've just flushed something around where Brent is. He's popping out over there. Always chaos and pandemonium when we have them here. It looks as though they've caught something. I think Brent might still have a view of them. We don't. There's another vehicle coming in to join us. There we go. There goes Brent. Okay, there's a wild dog. Let's just stick and see what happens here. It is so thick. This is exactly where the Nkuhumas killed that buffalo not so long ago. Alright. It seems as though Brent doesn't have a signal. I'm scared if I go towards there, I'm not either, but let's try and have a look. Let's go and have a look at what's happening from the air.
All right, there they are. They seem to have caught something there. That looks like feeding behavior. The tail's up. That doesn't look like a scrub hare either. That looks like something quite big. That is astounding stuff. Look at this. Maybe not very big. Adult standing guard, not trying to share at all. Gee, we've had some wonderful days. Now, that that looks pretty vicious. I know it does. Used to, I mean, until 3 minutes ago, that was a living, breathing member of this ecology. And now it is devoured and disappeared and gone. And to some, in fact, wild dogs kill things much faster than any other predator I've ever seen. Although it looks gruesome, they'll kill things much more quickly than lions will. They kill things much more quickly than leopards. Hyenas probably kill about the same speed. Gee whiz, look at that. Well done, Connor. That's great drone work there. No, hang on. Is that much bigger? Connor, I don't suppose we can zoom in there, can we? Oh, that's huge. What are they tugging at there? Oh, at each other. They're having a fight. There we go. They're fighting with each other over the scraps. There we can see now. Now, I want to see the adults there. Now, when we talk about how alert they are, we are obviously putting together these clips for the TV shows, and we do these catch-up clips. And the theme of our wild dog catch-up clip has been how protective the adults have been around a kill site like this. And you can see from the drone, you can see it now, you can see it on the drone shot that Brent was telling about earlier today, where he and Connor followed one, when it was last Sunday evening, they followed the hunt almost to the end. And the adults didn't eat. They let the little ones eat here, and the adults sort of fanned out all around in an attempt to sort of fend off or provide early warning for incoming scavengers. And that certainly happened. A hyena came running in, the dogs dispersed, but they were warned of the incoming hyena by the adults. Now, that warning system failed, obviously, yesterday, and I think it's because they weren't actually eating anything. I don't think that the adults expected an incoming scavenger because there wasn't actually food in the offing. I'm going to guess that was a scrub hare. They're still feeding on it, so maybe it was a duiker or a steenbok or something. Steenbok would be very odd, a very odd habitat for steenbok to be in, so quite possibly duiker. Well, Sharon, that's the question, isn't it? And I mean, I think it's the question that you're asking there. Why they don't stick closer together is exactly the question that those researchers asked themselves when they went off to try and find out how it is that wild dogs actually hunt. I think it's too difficult, Sharon. I think by spreading out the sort of workload, by spreading out and kind of bombshelling after things, I think their chances of success are that much higher. Unless they single out one particular animal. But you can imagine, running at the speed that they do through bush like this, it must be almost impossible to single out an animal and then everybody coordinate some kind of attack. I mean, unless they're operating on a level of communication that we really don't understand, which is quite possible, I don't see how it's possible. And often when they're killing in Botswana, it's not on the plains, it's on the fringes of the plains that they kill. In bush quite like this. Right, they're off. Here they go again. Now this is, there we go. This is Connor's sort of second wild dog hunt. So he's doing a remarkably good job there. I'm just going to keep an eye on the feeds so that I know when we're going to go back to him or not. But isn't that fantastic stuff? The scrub hares are taking a bit of a pasting at the moment. All right, let's go back to the air. There they go. They seem to be on the run again. And I wonder, Connor, can you tilt up just a little bit towards the front of your screen, towards the east, so that we can perhaps get a view of whether or not... Oh, sorry, right. Connor's got to land immediately. He's run out of fuel. Anyway, I think they're about to approach Buffelshoek Dam, so that's quite cool. Connor is going back away from Buffelshoek Dam. He's going to have to land and refuel his drone with batteries. Fascinating stuff. And while we have your attention, I just wanted to show you this very fine caterpillar that I found. I'm not going to capture this one. I'm going to put it back outside on the tree that it likes to live on and hope that it's there for the remainder of our time in the tent. perhaps we will be able to see it turn into some kind of, well, moth or butterfly. I think it's probably going to be a fairly large moth. Let me hold it steady. Then there's another one, a much younger one down here. Just underneath there. It's Caterpillar City. There we go. And the distressing part of what I'm going to show you now is that there is, I think, the size of the Waltheria caterpillar that I've been keeping in my room. I think it's got a lot larger on the back end of living, perhaps on a living leaf. So I need to rethink how I'm going to keep my caterpillars safe. I think I might just put a box over them on top of a plant. We'll see if that works. Okay, let's head back to Jamie, get an update from her.
We've left the wild dog sighting for now, just because there are other vehicles coming in, but it's always unbelievably exciting watching the way that it all works, and that's where that drone has become so incredibly useful as a way of keeping track of them, especially in those really, really dense blocks. It helps us to have a chance to see what exactly they're doing, but especially because that particular area, both Brent and my signal is a little bit weak, and I think Brent's doing a fantastic job of keeping track of them as it is. And I've just realized how late it's getting, and we better start, if we're going to have a chance to see Gwen, I think we better start heading back in that direction. Let's head back to Brent and those dogs.
Caught up with him. Oh, and, oh, it's changed direction again. I can't move. It's the puppies that are chasing the scrub hares. Wow. You really don't want to be a scrub hare around here when the wild dogs are about. Oh, sounds like they might have caught it. Hold on.
And sorry about that, everybody. That is an area where it is notoriously bad signal, so we're back on Wendy once again, whilst Brent tries to find a good position to try and see those dogs and to try and have slightly better signal. I'm still tossing up in my mind whether or not I should go back, but I think that generally our signal is going to be weaker than Brent's there anyway. So we'll just have to cross our fingers and hope that he manages to find us a good place where we can see the action and what the wild dogs are up to. And I'm listening to the updates at the same time through the Game Drive radio, which is how we all as guides keep track of what's going on. Hopefully they start to move towards Buffelshoek Dam, because that's where we'll have some really good vehicle signal and be able to watch them. I'm sure Brent is hunting a buffalo, and they'd caught it, but it was such an awkward signal patch, and at one point the buffalo in its panic came running towards us, and we had to do a very rapid reverse backwards, and as we did that the signal cut out and we disappeared off everybody's screens, and I think there was a brief moment of concern that perhaps we hadn't managed to get out of the buffalo's way in time. We had. It's a stunning evening to be watching a wild dog hunt. The sun is gradually setting. I'm going to race through to those hyenas in the hope that darkness brings out courage. But of course, for us, darkness does not bring out courage, and Taylor has to say goodbye.
Very sadly, it's one thing about being on bushwalk is that the sun waits for nobody, as you've seen with the beautiful sunrises and sunsets that we've had. And of course, well, it's been quite rude this evening and not waiting a little bit longer for us to linger on around out here. And of course, yes, it's now dropped behind the horizon, and we've made it safely towards the dam in front of Buya. Oh, James is trying to find us with a rover. Let's help him. Let's walk towards the rover quickly. And I can actually see Ronald. Ronald, we're over here, Ronald. Ronald, you have to keep coming south. And we can see him moving. And he's just up ahead, so we'll go and say hello. I was actually going to be naughty and go and stick my face in front of him earlier. And then I decided not to. But it'll actually be quite interesting to see should we do like a proximity test? Because often we get to see the animals, sort of how close they are from Ronald, but sometimes with these smaller cameras, it feels like you're a little bit further away. So we'll see. Hello, and I'm sure Ronald can see us now. So we're about 6 foot away. I bet he's going to drive into us. Yep. Look, he can go now. You better hope Alex is not watching. Look, he can do wheel spins, he can do all sorts of things. Oh my gosh, this is hysterical. Well, now Ronald is attacking Craig, so I better rescue Craig from this dangerous thing, but it's been wonderful out here, and I hope that you're enjoying the wild dogs. But I'm going to say goodbye for myself, Rex and Craig. It's been wonderful, and we'll catch you probably in the morning. But we're going to send you back over to James, the naughty rover driver.
That's too much fun. Let's go straight back to the air and the dogs. There we go. They're on the move again. I don't know if they caught that scrub hare that Brent was chasing. Well, he wasn't chasing them. He was chasing the dogs who had apparently caught it, maybe. Now, we're getting to that wide expanse of drainage line just to the west of Buffelshoek Dam. You can see that golden light that it was touching the tops of the trees has now disappeared. As Taylor said, the sun has in fact set. And I think the dam... Can I ask you, if you wouldn't mind, Connor, to just tilt upwards? Can we see the dam, just so that I can get an idea of what proximity we're at? No. Yes, there we go. No, I can't see the dam at all. Ooh. Oh, there it is. Okay, I can see the dam there. Well done. All right, so... You can go back to the dogs now if you'd like, Connor. They are moving on the northern side of the drainage line. I've walked that game path many times. And it's a beautiful place to go walking. It's oh, what's going on now? There seems to be some... Oh, there's a scrub hare. They've caught it. They've got the scrub hare there. Absolutely nailed it. Look at the speed with which they got that. Now, a scrub hare is one of the fastest animals out here. That's their second one in less than 5 minutes, and it'll be devoured in probably about 35 seconds. That is astounding. It was obviously a very small one because they've devoured it already. I don't think what they ate the first time can possibly have been a scrub hare then, unless that was a really tiny one. It could have been a little leveret. So what's going on here, I think, is that these dogs are either purposely or not purposely bombshelling through here and flushing whatever they can, and then they all just go after it. There was nothing coordinated about that scrub hare hunt. The scrub hare ran, it ran the wrong way, and it was caught. Jeepers, that was a live kill we just watched, everybody. That was a live kill from the drone. Connor, well done. Brilliant job. Marvellous. Now, Brent can't get a car into this area because there will be absolutely no signal, but they are heading towards him. I saw him driving onto the dam wall, and they're probably now about 200 meters from him, I'd say. It's about 700 feet odd. Now they're listening and thinking, and I suspect the alphas might pop out, or the adults may well pop out at the dam very shortly. Right, wonderful question coming through from someone called Mama Pinky. Hello, Mama Pinky. What a lovely name you have. You say, do the dogs eat bones? Yes, they do. They eat small bones that they can crush. They don't eat the big leg bones of enormous animals, but an impala bone they'll be able to crush and eat. Certainly a steenbok or duiker bone they will devour forthwith. Absolutely, they are able to eat many kinds of bones. And like most of the carnivores, however, they will not be able to digest hair or hoofs. But bones they can crush and eat. And of course, we know that that is very good nutrition. It's excellent nutrition, our bones, and I'll show you why. Well, just wait for the... I keep stabbing myself on the giraffe skull here. Of course, inside a bone like this, there is a cavity in which the marrow sits, and that will be very, very healthy food for any kind of carnivore, because fat is a very limiting macronutrient in the diet of all the carnivores. This, however, would not have been opened up by a wild dog, much too big. This was almost certainly a hyena. All right, here we're going back to the air. We're staying here in the tent. Right, oh, I see that the drone shot is frozen at the moment, so we're going to stay here for now. Maybe Brent will get sight of them shortly. I'm just trying to quickly finish my caterpillar story here on this living piece of tree. Now, what else did I want to tell you? Oh no, I think I had finished it. Sorry, I've told you everything I needed to tell you about that. Good. Do I have anything else in here? Yes, I do. I have a flower, but Brent, however, would like to show you a little bit of the sunset while he waits for the dogs at Buffelshoek Dam.
Look in the sunset. Look in the sunset. So Connor's just repositioning his vehicle where the signal comes from. The drone is hovering around where the dogs are. Hopefully we'll be able to get back to that picture very shortly. And we are standing by at the Buffelshoek waterhole. I'm expectant of an explosion of puppies in about... How long would you reckon, Ryan? 3 minutes?
4.
4 minutes. Our timings have been a bit off today, so maybe we'll finally get it right. Hi, Chai Connie. Chai Connie's wondering how far does a wild dog contact call travel? It'll actually travel reasonably far, and when you watch them do it, they do very similar to what hyenas do, and they put their head to the ground and they use the ground as an amplifier, so that... But now, if I do this, you see how that makes a bit of a difference. So they use that. So I probably think it's not loud, like it's not that deep thing like a leopard's roar that can, and then a leopard or a lion that can travel quite a long distance. I'd say probably 2 or 3 kilometers. Now, I'm just trying to see if the drone's on the move again towards us. Now, let us hope the wild dogs do not decide to sleep there, because there is where the car can't go. And if I say the car can't go there, it really can't go there. Quickly back to the drone.
Back to the drone, into the air, there we are. I don't know where these dogs are now. They should have arrived at Buffelshoek Dam, and I'm afraid I've got no perspective on it right now. Brent, I know Brent will be able to tell us exactly which way the drone is going and where it is. Oh, there's the dam. Okay, so that they're just they're heading sort of towards the northwestern side. Okay, there's Brent. Wonderful. Well done, Connor. Excellent flying, as usual. Not a terrible drone pilot is our Connor. In fact, he has a license. And he was in an article, actually, as a drone pilot, and he was wearing a very spiffy, luminous yellow safety vest, which I'm glad to say he is not wearing today. That's enough about Connor. There goes the dog down the game path, and Brent, they're going to pop out on the road just to the north of Buffelshoek Dam now, on Buffelshoek East, except they've now turned north, so your best approach probably is going to be the fire break. I'm just to south into the drainage line. There, the wave singled that one out. Stick with that one, Connor, if you can. There we go. Now Brent's got them. There, we've got them. The dog's still after them, Connor. That's brilliant stuff. That Nyala is off, miles off. I think it's going to make it. Now, where's the rest of the herd? I think probably to the left there, Connor. Vehicle. Oh, Connor, I think probably to the right. I don't know if Connor can see them. No, you can see exactly what we can see. Oh, somewhere around there. Just keep an eye on the dam there. The dogs may well arrive. I think they've gone further down to the south. That's Brent's view, I'm assuming. There we are, back up here. And now we've lost them. Impossible to keep up. You see, they just bombshelled. Now, if they have killed, of course, Brent will be able to hear. I think that's frozen, I'm afraid. No, it's moving. There we go. Well then, Connor, I think you're going to have to go quite a long way south from there, if you don't mind. Yeah, just head along there. Head towards that road and see if you can't pick one of them up there. Yeah, just keep going that way, but I think you're going to have to go quite a lick because they would have moved a long way. The dam is covered by people standing there. Yeah, I think just head along parallel with that road, probably quite quickly. And then maybe circle back around to the right. Yeah. They've gone a long way now. Yeah, Connor, I think you've got to go off towards the southeast. Pretty much parallel with those game paths that you can see there. Oh, that was amazing. Wasn't that exciting? There we go, dog. That's it, Connor. You got him. Center of screen, going out to the left. Just follow that dog. If they've killed, that one will be going straight towards the kill. Because they would have called. There we go. Well done. Now, of course, we are losing light now, which means it's going to be increasingly difficult for the drone commander. That is a youngster looking for the rest of the pack. It can hear something. Now, imagine we could put a heat-sensitive camera on top of this thing. That would be spectacular. Brent, dog is going down Nyala Road south. It's now in the drainage line. It's reached the drainage line. It's looking for the rest of the pack. Straight down Nyala Road north. Sorry, Nyala Road north is where it's going. You can see that zigzagging action that it's doing. It's trying to find the rest of the pack. I don't know if it can hear them. There, going up towards the left now. Brent, I'm going to huck you again and tell you that they're going onto Hippo Pools. Not Hippo Pools, the other one. Is it Hippo Pools? No, it's not Hippo Pools Road. I've forgotten what it is. You'll know. Gwaripan. They're going towards Gwaripan Road. And I wonder... Yeah, you see it's getting too dark now. Connor, you can't blow the gain, can you? Anyway, it's fascinating stuff, isn't that? Know if they've managed to kill. They may well have managed to kill, and maybe that's what that one's hearing. I don't know. Fascinating stuff. I'm being attacked by something. Oh, I know what I wanted to show you. Yes, while we wait for Brent to see if he can find them. Oh, Brent has found them. Good. Okay, let's head straight over to him.
Oh, the dogs just ran straight past across us. They're heading back down towards the Nyala Road north now. What? I can't wait to see what this drone's been seeing. And of course, it is incredible. We just got to think that without this technology, the last 45 minutes, half an hour, would have just been tiny snippets of dogs, and we probably would have lost them. And let's just have a quick look. They just went through here. So I just got to update everyone. They turned around, went past me, back down into the drainage. Okay, so we're all trying to, this is a bit of a wobbly signal area for us here. But hopefully we'll catch up with the dogs. While we get to better signal, let's go to Jamie.
Well, Brent catches up with those dogs. I have very sad news. We went back to the hyena den and it looks as though we were just that little bit too late, because there was absolutely no sign of Gwen and no sign of her cubs. And that is such a pity, because generally when the females leave the den site, the cubs often follow them a little bit before returning to the safety of the den. So we probably just missed out on that moment. I don't think we were far behind her. But I've checked all around this area. I've searched all of the pans. I've tried to follow her tracks to see where she went, but there were just so many tracks up and down that it was very, very difficult. Unfortunately, it seems as though we'll just have to try again tomorrow. That's okay. Time spent with hyenas is always a pleasant thing, but unfortunately not tonight. I can't believe it. We must have that's why I started racing back towards the den. I suddenly realized that it was getting late and that she was probably going to get up. It was just that, probably just a few minutes late that we missed her. Oh well. Next time, sorry, something just flew into my eye. Whoa. Crashed the car. Here you go. Sunset safari, but it is our time to say farewell to you all. It is the end of the sunset safari, so a big thank you to Liam for his camera work, and a big thank you to all of you for joining us, sending through your questions and your comments. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow on the sunrise safari. Back to Brent for the last few minutes.
So much of excitement. Can't wait to see that drone footage. I think it's going to be incredible, and it is amazing now. It has definitely added a different dynamic to being able to follow these incredible wild dogs. I'm getting too excited. It wasn't a wild dog. It was a dove. I just caught the end of it. But how incredible that is. I was hoping they'd pop up in this area here. So my head's still on a swivel as I check around. I'm pretty sure that if they didn't catch anything big, they might hunt for a little bit longer, probably another 20-30 minutes before it gets dark. You never know, they might pop out in the Djuma dam cam. That's the thing about wild dogs. We've seen how quickly they can change direction. It makes them so incredibly difficult to follow. And, well, we can hope they're going to be sleeping somewhere on Djuma tomorrow. And I'll have my nose out trying to track them by smell. We'll have Connor in the air. I'm sure there will be everyone looking for wild dogs tomorrow morning. It is such an incredible thing to follow, and we have been so spoiled in seeing them so often. And of course, with everything in the bush, there are the ups and the downs, but we're not going to talk about the downs because today has been such an up. And as you can see, life goes on, it continues. And I'm going to try one last little gander. I'm trying to think, where do we think they've gone, Brian? I think they've gone west. Now, Veronica says, wouldn't it be cool to get night vision from the air? I would definitely agree, Veronica. I think that would be amazing. And maybe it's something we might have thought of already. Maybe, I don't know. You're going to have to wait and find out. And we don't use spotlights on dogs. They're, of course, mostly daytime animals.
That is the end of Brent. Not forever, just for the next 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, what I wanted to show you here, and because we saw that really harrowing event yesterday. Obviously, many of you have seen these skulls before, but I want to show you the difference. And I was re-looking at that footage that Jean-Andre managed to snap, and I mean, listening to Brent's really heart-rending narration of the event yesterday evening. And if you weren't watching, of course, a young wild dog was killed by a lioness. Now, this is an adult dog here. That's one there. And this is an adult male lion. So I think the difference is probably roughly the same. An adult dog weighs in the region of 20 kilograms. It's 44 pounds. A really big one can weighs in at round about 180 to 220 kilograms. So I'm just going to do this in kilograms, if that's all right. That dog that was yesterday pinned underneath the Ziziphus bush where it was eventually killed, I mean, it had absolutely no chance. Look at the difference in size there. There was absolutely no way that once the lion with its massive jaws got hold of the dog that it was ever going to be able to survive. And what I think it did, I think the first thing that happened, and we don't see this, of course, what happens is the lion came in behind the bush and it grabs the dog, I think, behind the neck. It probably hits it first. We don't see that either, but often what a lion will do is hit with its massively powerful front shoulders. That will often break the spine immediately and render whatever it is totally paralyzed. I don't know if that happened there. I suspect the lioness got in there fast enough to not have to do that, and then she would have bitten it. Because it was a smaller animal, she would have driven her canines basically through this joint here. So she would have driven her canines through that joint. That would have severed the spine entirely and rendered the animal completely paralyzed. It wouldn't have felt a thing after that. Then she dropped it, obviously, and then picked it up again by the throat in order to, that's the lethal throat hold that a cat will do. But initially, she would have grabbed it and snapped its spine. So, I know that's a little bit grim to have seen, but that's, I think, how the story unfolded last night. I don't think that dog even knew once it was terrified. It would have run into the bush, it would have been grabbed and paralyzed and without feeling almost immediately. So I don't think it would have felt anything. Dreadful thing to have seen, fascinating nevertheless, and, well, hopefully we'll never have to see it again. And as Brent said to you last night, of course, wild dogs, major killers out here are in fact lions. Right, that is going to be it from the tent, and indeed from both drives and the walk for the day. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, David. Welcome back from leave. Nice to have you home.
Thank you, David.
Yes, good. We will see you tomorrow, of course, for the sunrise safari, but there will be no sunset safari tomorrow. That is because we're in private rehearsal for television the next day. And remember, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday, Nat.Geo Wild. Until tomorrow, bye-bye, and keep very safe and happy wherever you happen to be.